Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi my loves, it's Destin.Choice and you're watching Choice TV. For today's video, I wanted to get on here and give my unpopular opinions that are probably going to irritate y'all, piss y'all off, make you angry, make you cry, make you upset, make you sad. And I wanted to come on here gracefully say, I don't give a fuck. These are my unpopular opinions that I have. Some of these I just keep to myself because sometimes you say shit nowadays and people are just like fucking going hard in the paint, threatening shit, calling you ignorant, calling you stupid, and all types of stupid shit that makes no fucking sense. Because even though these are just opinions, they're low-key facts, and a lot of y'all low-key still feel the same fucking way. And these are my opinions, like I said, so I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. These are my popular opinions. I don't think what IShowSpeed went through at all was racism.
Get out of here. Let's get out of here. What? They throwing stones? They throwing stones. Ah, shit. Why they throwing stones? Oh, hell no.
So IShowSpeed is currently on an African tour, and Lord and behold, Algeria was one of his stops. And a lot of people have been going in on Algeria in social media, basically making it clear that the country is racist because of the way they treated him. He was at a game, and they essentially were throwing garbage at him, throwing trash and scraps at him. And in one moment, one person even called him the N-word with the hard ER as he was cruising along in a car.
Algeria lost a lot of points on the world stage. The way they treated IShowSpeed, I believe, is going to come back to them in the form of less tourism because they literally had speed running. IShowSpeed, the most loved guy in America and frankly the world, and for them to show as a country that they actually don't like him for whatever reason.
And thank you to IShowSpeed for letting me know that Algeria is not for the people.
My eardrum just busted, bro. I'm not even trolling. My shit ringing. I can't.
I'm sorry, did we just witness them trying to take this man's life? From them throwing water bottles at him and shooting fake bullets at him, I think it's a very clear message that they don't want him there. That's very clear that they don't want us to come back either. Speed just wanted to show us some different cultures in Africa, and these folks ain't having it. And to those who are saying that this isn't racism, that's a lie. You can't hide racism on camera. They weren't mad because he had his camera out.
Why Speed was treated like that in Algeria.
This is IShowSpeed we're talking about. The world's biggest streamer. They're mad because they're not understanding why a black man like IShowSpeed is getting the praise that he is.
So it's little stuff like that that people see and it makes them think that the country is racist, but it's not true at all. Some people are just stupid and some people honestly are just making the country look bad, but that doesn't mean the country is racist at all. It's actually really ridiculous that people try to group in a whole country based off of what 3 to 4 people did. He was filming people without their consent and some of them were doing the most. And a lot of times people in Africa have a tendency to be socially insensitive to social norms. Someone called him the N-word with the hard ER. And obviously a lot of people in Algeria aren't black. But Algeria has a lot of black people. If anything, they have probably the biggest concentration of black people in North Africa. So it's weird to me that people try to sit up here and say, oh, they're racist as fuck over there. No, they were not. The people who probably did do fuck shit, yeah, they're probably racist, but you're over here in an Arab country recording people. People don't take kindly to that. And a lot of Arab cultures, it's considered inappropriate and it's considered very draining and it's considered unclassy to be filmed and put on camera because a lot of them prioritize being private and being as exclusive as possible. I don't give a fuck about Nicki Minaj's political opinions and neither should you. Separate the art from the artist. The same way a lot of y'all can still listen to Chris Brown after he beat Rihanna's ass like a fucking bongo drum. The same way that a lot of y'all still listen to R. Kelly's music and still step in the name of love. Y'all can still listen to Nicki Minaj and still not have to like look at her political views to justify shitting on her every chance you get when she's displayed to the public every single time because of her recent political beliefs.
And so I had recently been seeing a couple things circling online, and I just wanted to confirm with him directly. And I said, you know, do you have a problem with the LGBT community? To my immigrants, who I love very much, I love my immigrants, I'm an immigrant. But how can you tell a president not to enforce a law that simply says you have to be legal to get in the country?
Do I agree with a lot of the shit Nicki Minaj said? Yes, I do, bitch. 95% of it. But do I agree with everything? No. It's childish as fuck to care about somebody's political views and opinions and want to cancel them just for that. If you want to do that, that's fine, but just know you're fucking childish. There is nothing wrong with Asians taking photos of you if you're a person of color in their fucking country. Asians are homogenous. They all look the same when you go to their countries. So when you see these videos of people like, you know, annoyed or nervous because Asians are taking photos of them or being snapshotted because Asians are crowding around them, want to take pictures of them because they're treating them like celebrities.
Why is she standing at me?
When you're black, you're never really lonely because there will always be a white person all up in your business.
It's a sense of endearment. They're basically uplifting you and showing you love. And yes, some Asians do take it a little bit too far, like trying to sneakily take pictures of you, but it's not racist at all. On top of that, racism, Jim Crow, and prejudice and redlining, a lot of that shit wasn't a thing in a lot of these Asian countries. If you're broke and have no direction in life, just join the military. That's the best advice I could ever give. If you're not trying to go to college, if you're tired of working, take your ass to the fucking military. They feed your ass, they house you, and they pay for your school if you decide to ever go back for higher education. Stop being childish and just go do something and commit to it. Join the military. I know people always be like, oh, don't do it on the Trump's. Just join the fucking military, okay? It'll literally give you stability. It'll literally save your life if you have no kids and you have plenty of ample time to build yourself up. Summer Walker did not deserve the backlash she got for her meet and greet. She told us she has social anxiety. She told us that she's a witch. She's sensitive to people's energy. And if you bought a meet and greet ticket, then that's on you. I don't feel bad for anyone that bought a meet and greet ticket and feels a way about the fact that she didn't bring the energy.
You act like it's an inconvenience for you. You look disgusted at the fact that they even interacting with you. And y'all can save this her having social anxiety. Like, if you got social anxiety that bad, that's the way you gonna treat the people that's spending money and keeping you relevant, don't have the meet and greet at all.
Got a wig glued on my homeowner with a swim pool.
I'm trying to get y'all to understand. I'm not being rude. I'm scared. I'm like, y'all freak me out. And it's not y'all fault though. It's not y'all fault. It's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. I'm gonna just put that out there. It just don't sit right. You don't sit right. That's me. I'm trying to get y'all to understand.
First of all, what the fuck are you doing paying to meet Summer Walker? What did y'all expect? Airbnb is still one of the best inventions ever, and I don't care that it's contributing to the housing crisis. I'm still gonna use it, and so should you. Airbnb has been around for like literally over 15 years at this point, and I'm gonna be real, people get so pissed off at Airbnb in places like France because, as you guys know, because of Airbnb, France is having a horrible housing crisis and it's been politicized to a huge degree. And a lot of landlords are, instead of trying to reinvent their apartments and make it clean and suitable for long-term landlords, they're making it suitable for temporary tenants. And it's fucking up the housing economy because now normal housing is insanely expensive.
Has Airbnb overstayed its welcome in Europe? Nearly 24 cities are calling on the European Union to take tougher regulatory action on the company. For years, the home-sharing website has been accused of driving up property prices and forcing residents out of neighborhoods. Several cities have already imposed restrictions, but officials say that without an actual framework, Airbnb can escape sanctions by simply claiming that the website is there to put people in touch with renters. In a statement, the mayor of Paris made it clear she saw Airbnb as a direct threat to the housing market.
So Airbnb has been a problem for a lot of European countries, more specifically big cities such as Lisbon, Portugal, London, the United Kingdom, and of course, places such as Paris, France. And many people blame this as to why many of the locals can't afford a decent home. If you want to get a decent apartment in Paris, if you want to actually get your own apartment, it's going to cost you at least $1,400 to live somewhere decent, to live in a good area, to live central, and more than likely, you're not even going to have all the amenities that you need or want. It's going to be something super tiny, and it's not even going to be worth the money. And on top of that, the wages in France are fairly low compared to other European countries. So that should already tell you everything you need to know. To us as Americans, that's nothing, but for them, that's a lot of fucking money, especially because the wages just don't add up.
In Paris, 40% of the housing that is owned by these maxi proprios, and nearly 60% of the rentals, and many of them no longer want to go through the hassle or don't need to go through the hassle of renting for potentially a number of reasons. Airbnb, energy rules, capped rents, no financial need. So not only was 1 in 5 apartments vacant in Paris in 2021, but Paris is losing some 8,000 primary residence rentals per year. That's according to l'Atelier Parisien Urbanisme.
And they see the fact that they can't even rent something decent because everybody's turning all their units into Airbnbs. It makes them have animosities towards the foreigners. So Airbnb has caused a big housing crisis in France, and honestly, it's not going to get better anytime soon because a lot of people who are digital nomads and are working from home, they're getting 2-week, 1-month rentals on Airbnb instead of going to landlords, and landlords are getting desperate. They can't rely on the general public anymore. Now they're relying on foreigners to come in. So they're, instead of renting to long-term tenants, they're converting their properties into Airbnbs for temporary residents. Yeah, this is leading to a big housing crisis, and it's getting worse. But honestly, I don't give a fuck. I like staying in fucking Airbnbs. There's some good deals on there. Kim Kardashian working with Beyond Meat is a red flag. And none of y'all should be eating that shit at this point.
I believe so much in the mission of Beyond Meat that I've stepped in to help with my greatest asset, my taste. This plant-based meat is not only amazingly delicious, but it's also better for you and better for the planet. It's a simple change that makes a really big difference. So good. And now that I'm Beyond Meat's chief taste consultant, there's never been a better time to go beyond.
Asking Northwest for photos is weird as fuck because she hasn't done anything to be famous. When I see people walk around and crowd around her and try to get photos of her, I just don't understand it because she's 12 and has done nothing to be famous.
Can I take a picture? No? Okay.
Alabama Barker needs friends in her own tax bracket. Now, if y'all don't know who Alabama Barker is, she's the daughter of Travis Barker, the drummer from the boy band group, rock band group 185 or some shit like that. And essentially, her dad is also popular for being married to Kourtney Kardashian. And it's really a shame that you always see these videos of her falling out with people like Bad Baby, falling out with friends on the internet, friends coming forth saying that she's fucking all these rappers and so much more. And it's really a shame that she has got on camera numerous times and she said that she books her friends' flights.
So, okay, so this is like sometimes like if like I'm hanging out with new girls and they want to come out, whatever, like I'll give them like a weekend, right? So like if we get along, we got a weekend. Like, you know, one of the girls, I didn't get along with her.
So she left. I wish that
Bama is the type of person, like, she needs all her friends to not fuck with one person. She even tries to, like, I don't know, get my friends to become her friends and then like make them unfollow me. Like, that's happened multiple times where she tries to like literally like steal my friends, guys. Like, I'm not even joking right now. Like,
because all you do all day is sit on Instagram and TikTok, find pretty girls or girls that you once had a problem with and fly them out. And I see that now. I literally see that because I've been around you and watched you do it.
Why are you booking your friends' flights? If they can't make it, you shouldn't be paying for that shit at all.
The reason why we fell out, the reason why we don't talk, I got her an appointment with a plastic surgeon because she wanted her body done. Best in LA. Who was paying for it? I was. Didn't need shit in return. Didn't need shit in return. And you know, cool, did that, right? This is why we got into an argument. She goes to the appointment. I got her. I couldn't come because I was having something super fucking personal going on. And I was literally in bed. I couldn't get out of bed and I was crying. I was fucked up. And you know what she did? She went home, stopped answering her text, and completely ignored me. Everybody stating, why are you making your friends sign NDAs? Literally for this reason. Applies to nail artists, makeup artists, hairstylists, etc. for literally this type of reason. I don't know why everyone's first initiative is to expose instead of giving me just a call.
At the end of the day, like, and I don't want to sound like a crybaby, all I wanted was friends. Like, I wasn't trying to, like, be weird to any of these girls, like, at all. I'm just gonna say one thing on this live stream. I never did anything negative towards these women, and I've never tried intentionally to hurt any of these girls. And that's all I wanted to come on here and say, because they keep going live about me. They keep threatening to expose me.
And I feel like we've all been there with trying to have friends and winning validation with certain friends. And Alabama Barker is only 20 years old. She is stupid. She's wasting her time and energy being worried about friends who aren't even in her tax bracket and aren't even on her level and shouldn't even be around her. Not to say that you can't have friends that make less than you, but at her age, they're never going to see you as an equal. Most 20-year-olds don't have $1 million in their bank account. Most 20-year-olds don't have a fucking gold record. Most 20-year-olds don't come from wealth and privilege and a very successful parent that's going to leave them tens of millions of dollars worth of an empire. Because you shouldn't be paying for anybody unless you're fucking them, dating them, or plan on doing business with them. Like, you just should not be doing that for anybody unless you have a very good relationship with them. Everybody needs to pay their own way, and she's attracting friends that are users and manipulators and are yes men to her because she pays for everything and she's super wealthy. Credit cards should only be allowed at 21 years old. It's very evil that banks and financial companies try to prey on people who are fresh out of high school and just jumped into adulthood, who are literally gonna ruin their fucking credit with a fucking piece of plastic that is going to just essentially withhold you from getting a house one day, getting a home one day, and getting a decent car loan. Honestly, credit card companies shouldn't be allowed to give anybody a credit card unless they're 21. And plus, there's other ways to build your credit. Like, you can literally report your rent to the credit bureau. There's shit that you can do like that. There's other ways to build your credit, such as putting yourself as an authorized user for one of your elder relatives' credit cards. Like, someone could literally just simply add you on by calling their bank and add you on their credit cards, and you literally can inherit like 10, 20 years worth of credit history that your mom, dad, or grandma built, and then that could literally jump your credit from there. This is the most ridiculous video I've ever seen in my life currently on TikTok. Now, I saw this video recently of a young woman basically saying that if somebody's racist, to beat their fucking ass. And it was the most dumbest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life because it doesn't make any sense.
When people be racist to y'all and call y'all slurs, stop recording. Whoop they ass. They don't give a fuck that you're recording them call you the hard R. Whoop, you need to go like this. Do that. They do not care nothing about that. They're actually about to turn their races up because they showing out for the camera. They about to call you the hard R some more. Like, stop recording these people. They don't give a fuck. They're racist. Whoop they ass.
She's suggesting that you need to go out of your way to beat their ass. And I get it. I'm all for a justified ass whooping. But no, because what happens if Karen calls the fucking police?
Hello?
And what do you think you are?
Where are you? Yeah, there's filthy niggers filming me, so you need to hurry up.
Who you calling a nigga?
You know, what are they going to do? Like, oh, yeah, you know, somebody was racist towards you. They deserved it. No, they're going to put your ass in jail because that's how fucking life works. People get held accountable for their actions. You can hold them accountable, but the law will hold you accountable. Y'all didn't learn from CJ So Cool? Y'all remember that horrible story where CJ So Cool was jumping up in a car and he was blasting music loud as hell, and then a white man called him a nigger, and then he literally pulled out a strap and pointed it at him, and then that white man ran off and called the police like a little bitch?
Anyway, this guy hops out of his car and he looks at me and he says, "What a perfect way for a nigger to waste his money." Just hearing me say that shit right now hurts, bruh. This motherfucker in a Honda, gets out and says this to me. My top was off. I have a convertible. My top was off. I reached in the back of my car I grabbed the gun, okay? I grabbed my gun and I said, broke boys don't talk to rich boys. That's all I said. I didn't say I'm gonna kill you. I didn't say nothing else. Anyway, he calls the police and he tells them a black man with a Camaro on big rims just pulled a gun out on me and assaulted me at the MGM.
And then he ended up going to jail, and they ended up taking this fucking kid who was in the backseat and putting the kid in like child protective services. Y'all didn't learn from him. You don't beat somebody's ass for being racist. You literally fight them with politics. Recording somebody is the best way to fucking hold them accountable, because people like to lie, but footage doesn't lie. So when you record somebody for being racist and prejudiced towards you and doing too much, like a lot of these videos we see, you hold them accountable and you fight them with politics. Because the one thing people hate nowadays is their reputation being smeared and shitted on. So you need to hold people accountable politically. So this idea of putting your hands on people and people hyping this up and liking this to where it goes viral, this is bullshit and this is dumb. And I really hate that some people are able to just post shit like this and just like condone it. No, you don't fight anybody, put your hands on them, because your ass will go to fucking jail. That woman in that viral Tesla video was wrong as fuck. There's a viral video on TikTok right now and on Twitter of a young woman who basically got into a crazy altercation with a man in a Tesla charging station. She didn't charge her fucking vehicle right away. Instead, she just sat in the car and scrolled through her phone. Somebody pulled up right next to her and then charged their car immediately. And what she did was this. Instead of actually letting the man charge his fucking car, she then decided to get out of the car and she unplugged his shit and charged her vehicle instead.
Okay, Tesla parking wars part 3. So what you see here going on is me and a gentleman tussling over a charger that's plugged into my car. What happened was I had been sitting waiting for about an hour, and there's a few other cars waiting as well, and he swooped up into a parking spot and decided to plug up his car. But I had been waiting and I was going to, but he did it so fast. So I went and I unplugged his car and I plugged up mine. So he walked over to my door and said, "Did you unplug my car?" And I said, "Yes." And normally I never touch anyone's car who's plugged up. Hence is why I have been waiting there so long. I just think it's disrespectful. So he walks into the car, he asks me, I say yes, and he goes, "Why?" I said, "Sir, I have been sitting here, a while." He goes, "Prove it." And I said, "No, I'm letting you know I've been here." And that, he didn't like that. And then he got kind of like macho and talking mess or whatever. So I roll up the window. So he then said, I hear him say like, "Oh, I'm gonna go unplug it." So, "No, you're not." So I went and I had grabbed my charger, put my hand on the charger, and then you see kind of like us tussling going back and forth. And I'm gonna stand my ground regardless. And do I think I would have whipped this man's ass? Absolutely not. But it wouldn't have been no easy. It wouldn't have been no easy one. It wouldn't have been easy for him. And when I was looking this man in his eyes, he looks like a demon. At first I was calling him an imbecile because he was insulting me, calling me black. And keep in mind, he's next to a YT. She has nothing to do with it, but you could tell this lady was scared, like he might be whooping her ass. Allegedly. I'm not saying for sure that he is, but he definitely strikes me as that type of man.
She is lucky that's all he did, because he could have like probably killed her and like put his fucking hands on her and beat her ass, and it wouldn't have been pleasant. So I'm not saying that he's in the right for trying to struggle with her, but like, I don't understand women that try to like literally fight men and stand their ground with men. Like, a man will literally beat your fucking ass. She could have literally ended up in a very bad situation because she wanted to be petty and unplug somebody's car. First of all, people get shot for way less than that. For her to literally unplug somebody's car and plug hers, people don't realize when you are in a Tesla charging station, you literally are paying for that afterwards. So she unplugged his car and plugged hers in. That's literally running up his check. When you literally have a Tesla, they don't charge you right away. They charge you afterwards. So her putting it in her car is her adding to his bill. And for her to sit up here and try to justify with, "Well, I was there first, I just didn't get out the car right away," she was completely in the wrong for that shit. People who ghost you after getting into a relationship are self-absorbed users. They're users who use people as pawns to entertain themselves. If you are ever friends with a woman or a man that immediately ghosted you and started acting funny the minute they're in a relationship, those are people that just use people for entertainment. If they're mad at someone they're dating or they have no one else to talk to, they use you as pawns until they eventually find someone that can consume most of their time and then off to the streets and off to the hills with you. America is still one of the best countries in the fucking world, and if you disagree, then you need to travel somewhere else. I mean, let's be honest for a second. Have y'all been to Cuba or Venezuela? It's interesting because people are so easily like shitting on America and saying, are we great yet? See, we're not great. We're this, unemployment that. Some of y'all who can't find jobs are like genuinely picky as fuck. Not everybody, but some of y'all who can't find jobs are picky. Some of y'all don't want to flip burgers for like $12 to $13 an hour, and that's completely justified. But try going to a country like Cuba, where people can barely find a fucking job at all because resources are limited. Try going to places like Cuba or Venezuela, where people are literally having to buy like food bags to literally like provide for their whole family for the first 2-3 weeks of the month. Try going to a country like Cuba where women can't even get fucking tampons in a box, where they have to literally buy tampons individually or in threes because they are short and they aren't on the shelf and won't be on the shelf for the next 2 months. Try going somewhere like Venezuela where you can't even buy ketchup or mustard because it's overpriced as fuck and they're charging like $10 for a bottle because it's so limited because of all the enemies Venezuela has. So a lot of people aren't easily exporting, or when they do export, they literally export through Europe, and a lot of those countries don't care to lower their prices to accommodate the people. They keep their prices high as fuck because they still want to make a profit. Try going to those countries where they're really oppressed. Try going to a country like somewhere in somewhere like Nigeria, where there's a lot of crazy ass terrorist groups that are literally shitting on people, disrespecting people's rights, burning down their farmland and burning down their churches and their mosques. Try being oppressed there. At the end of the day, America is literally one of the best countries in the world, and this is coming from someone who's been to 17 countries. America can be a shithole sometimes, but damn, there is a lot of freedom here that a lot of us take for granted. Try going to a country where they tell you straight up that if you take off your hijab, you're going to get fined. Try going to a country where they tell you straight up if you don't have on a covering over your tank top, then you're going to go to jail and get fined. Try going to a country where they won't even let you fly to a different country unless you have a man with you. Try go to a country where it's illegal for you to drive because you're a woman. I'm telling y'all, America, we really have it good and we have it better than most people. So for people to shit on America and say that we're not a first world country and that we're shit because of healthcare and all these other things, bitch, I have a passport, and when I have free time, I will take my ass to a cheaper country and I will get medical care there. I will go to China or Colombia or go right next door to Mexico, since I live in California, and get medical care there for very, very cheap and affordable costs. If people don't take accountability for the way they treat you and the shit they did to you, then just hold them accountable. Distance is the best accountability you can give somebody. If somebody won't take accountability, hold them accountable. It's really that simple. I'll be real. Ice low-key ate Cardi B the fuck up when they had to get her ass together on social media.
Bitch, if Ice come in here, we gonna jump their asses. Bitch, I got some bear mace in the back. They ain't taking my fans, bitch. Let's go.
They went on Twitter and they said, it's okay, Cardi B, as long as we're not out here, as long as you're not out here drugging and robbing men, you won't have to worry about law enforcement. And what are the kids doing nowadays? They clocked her ass and ate her the fuck up. And her first response was, talk about the Epstein files. That was mid as fuck, because what does the Epstein files have to do with fucking ICE immigration? They ate her ass up for that. And that's why celebrities need to stay the fuck out of politics sometimes. James Charles got away with way too much in terms of talking to those fucking teeny boppers and those fucking minors.
My age, I'm not physically attracted to older guys, which sucks. Like, I would date like the absolute youngest, like 18, 19 that looks a little bit older, or like 24 that like has a young personality.
Okay. The video I'm going to show you is a video of him telling me he doesn't like putting makeup on hot guys, because I saw he was doing his makeup and I said, hey, maybe you can put makeup on me for a YouTube video.
I hate putting really hot guys into makeup.
Started talking back and forth, and he mentioned that he was flattered by me flirting with him the night beforehand.
Sorry about last night, you're very attractive. And then I responded with, it's all good, very flattering.
He asked me what my age was, and I told him I was 14 years old, and he told me I was very young.
And I said, yeah, and he said, add me on Snapchat because I feel more comfortable talking on there. And so I said, okay, like, let's do it, like, bet. And he was asking me to send him nudes, and he kept wanting me to go to LA, and he kept sending me nudes.
First off, why is James Charles talking to these teenage boys consecutively? Why are there like 10 boys that claim that they were talking to James Charles when they were in fucking high school? He's a fucking creep. So recently there was a billboard plastered in Los Angeles of somebody suggesting that James Charles likes to text them young. And it was posted by Ethan Klein, the dude from the H3 podcast who has been going in on James for years and exposing James for talking to minors. And James Charles has gotten away with a lot of shit to the point where sometimes I just be like, how the fuck did he get away with that shit? Because it's weird as fuck that at your age, you're talking to dudes in high school. Like, there's boys in high school that are coming forth and saying, yeah, he did this and that. Now, granted, some of those boys were definitely opportunists because why the fuck were they recording and documenting their fucking FaceTimes with James Charles? There's a lot of predatory behavior in the gay community where a lot of men who are in their 40s and 50s have tried to prey on like 17, 18, and 16-year-olds. And that's a normal thing in the gay community where a lot of gay guys just love talking to dudes that are 16, 17, 18 years old because it gives them a sense of power. They're just fucking predators. And I think because a lot of these young men were bi-curious or bisexual, that's why a lot of people don't give a fuck. People tend to not give a fuck about young boys being groomed if they more than likely are bi. Like, it sucks, but in the gay community, no one just fucking cares. Unless those boys were straight and were preyed on and were molested in a way, like, people just don't fucking care. There's something really wrong with the weed in the world right now. I don't care what nobody says. The weed we're smoking is very odd. First of all, why on earth is this shit so damn commercial? Why are they coming up with all these weird ass names? And why does it smell so perfumey? Sometimes I smell weed nowadays and it smells so perfumey. Like, it smells like synthetic weed. Like, I smell it and I think to myself, they're trying to force this shit to smell like a plant. And it low-key doesn't. It low-key smells like plastic and they just sprayed a whole bunch of like herbal weed oil on it. The shit that they're smoking now is not the same weed people were smoking 15, 20 years ago. All politicians benefit from people's fear of ICE and immigration law enforcement. The whole wave of ICE being filmed being reckless and disrespecting people, it's always happened, but the fact that it's being sensationalized, it's a way to try to pivot people to vote in a certain direction. Everybody doesn't realize it, but y'all are being prepped to vote a certain way when the new elections come about or come around. It's all being sensationalized. It's all according to plan. And then on top of that, I also believe that the other side as well is trying to fearmonger people into thinking that if they don't vote a certain way, then there's going to be a whole bunch of mass immigrants taking jobs and disrespecting the economy and people. You need to lie on your fucking resume. They will train you on that fucking job. They will train you on the job and they will give you experience. It's different if you're trying to be a doctor or a lawyer, but you need to lie on your resume and tell them that you were an operations manager, that you manage a whole fucking clinic, that you ran a whole hospital, that you manage budgets. Look, we have fucking ChatGPT now. If you can't figure out how to do some shit while you're at work on ChatGPT, then you're just an idiot. Just literally use ChatGPT and AI and your phone and Google shit as you go. I'm telling you, sometimes when you work in big corporate companies, you'll ever notice how sometimes you talk to people that are in charge and they don't even know what the fuck they're doing sometimes. Sometimes you talk to people that are in charge, they just be like, I guess, I think. They're fucking idiots who got in because of connections or they lied on their fucking resume. Lie on that fucking resume. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Like, why would you lie on the fucking resume? They will train you on the job. Not all black people come from Africa because I refuse to believe that black people weren't traveling before the colonizers came in and fucked everything up. I refuse to believe that and I will never believe that. You mean to tell me that this world has existed for probably billions of years and Africans or black people didn't travel before that? It just took colonizers doing it? Nah, I don't believe that shit not one fucking bit. I believe that they tell people that everybody came from Africa just so they can justify people not inheriting land. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, a lot of us migrated and have roots in Africa if you are a person of color, but let's be real for a second. When you see the native Australians and when you see the influx of black people that have been in the Philippines for generations and you see the influx of black people and the natives that have been in the Americas for generations, I think to myself, I I don't believe all of them came from Africa. I think that's just a lie that they tried to manipulate us into believing so that way they can justify why no one should deserve inherited land or why, no one deserves this or that. Like, if that's the case, why don't we call a lot of Europeans Africans as well, or Euro-Africans? Because if life started in Africa and we're all of Africa, why don't we ever pin that on the European? That's that for this entire video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Give your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought about my overall thoughts and opinions. And let me know what you guys agreed with and disagree with. And whether you disagree or agree or not, fuck you, bitch. I don't care. It's my fucking opinion. That's that for this video. And yeah, that's that. Choice out this bitch. If the parties was over and I wanna be next to you, I wanna hold you just for the night and I smile if it were with her, and I wanna be next to you. And the parties was over, 'cause I wanna be next to you.